Hi, this is Jordan with Good Sports Outdoor Outfitters. Today I was going to field a bunch of questions that we typically get from a lot of customers coming in to be properly fit for footwear. As a specialty sit and fit old school store, this is the kind of thing we field on a daily basis. Joe, what's your question? How often should you replace your shoes? The answer to this is very gray because there are too many variables to really take into consideration when you might suggest changing a shoe. We would say listen to your feet, listen to your legs, listen to your back. If your shoes have broken down and you've changed the angle of the land, then that will typically tell you that it's about time to replace those shoes. Typically running shoes, for example, an Asics Nimbus 21 would typically run 4.5 to 5.5 miles. If you have buffed off the heel completely and the sole is completely smooth, you should probably start looking at when to replace them. Why do I need good running shoes? Why can't I just get my shoes at any place and just pick them off the rack myself? Well, a bunch of different reasons. Fit is probably the most paramount part of owning a good pair of running shoes. Or hiking shoes or trail shoes or whatever it might be. And the idea is that you are providing substance and structure for the foot, but you're not allowing the foot to shift around, and you're also not cramming the shoe into or your foot into a ballerina slipper, right? We're not trying to crush the foot and bind it. We're trying to allow the toes to naturally do their thing so you can offer stability naturally and then mechanically offer what the shoe is going to offer the foot, which is stability and mechanical structure and correct gait cycle. What is the most important thing when you choose a running shoe? Not color and not a review of somebody else's shoe that was on their foot. The most important thing is coming in, having a seat, let's take our time with you, figure out the shape of your foot, the depth of your foot, and then really correctly assess what type of running you're doing and then really get you the correct shoe specifically for your shaped foot. What is pronation? Pronation is very typical for most humans. Most people start on the outside to the outside heel, which is why they actually move this piece of rubber kind of to the outside. A lot of the brands do this. And then as you come through the gait cycle, pronation is across the shoe to the big toe. Most people naturally pronate a little bit. I specifically supinate. I stay to the outside of my shoes, so I typically wear out the outside of my shoes. Being a pronator does not necessarily mean you need a corrective shoe. A lot of people who pronate from the outside heel to the center of the shoe, which is very moderate pronation, can go with a neutral shoe like a Nimbus or Glycerin or one of the other neutral products offered from the other companies. If you said, I really overpronate, and we looked at your gait cycle and saw this worn out and then saw this heavily worn out to the inside, we might suggest something that has a medial post that's going to offer some more structure. So as you come down the gait cycle and as you start to turn into the shoe, it holds you more to the center. The optimal ride being from here to the center of the shoe. Do I have to wear insoles with my shoes? It's a great question. And again, it's a little bit of a gray area because a lot of times when you buy a pair of shoes off the wall or you go to another store and you're picking them off the rack and you're putting them on yourself, if the shoe is feeling like it's filling in the gaps of the foot, including the arch and the ball of the foot, then you shouldn't necessarily need to add an insole. But that being said, people with high arches, people with flat feet, depending on the shoe, depending on the product, and depending on the person, we might suggest you add an insole so you can take the arch support and put it to the threshold of the foot, not just below the arch, so you're not getting this correct structure of the shoe. Do you have to wear socks when you're running? No, you don't have to do anything you don't want to. You're an adult. Do what the hell you want. Can I use the same pair of shoes running on the treadmill as running outside? Yes, you can. Treadmills typically wear a shoe out faster than they do if you were wearing a shoe on the road, only because the constant angle of a treadmill is constantly abrading the sole off. When you are on the road, it's either very even flat or ups and downs, and you get a much more even wear throughout the shoe in lieu of the treadmill. Thank you.